The San Francisco 49ers are getting their bully back, and that guy is definitely Deebo Samuel. I know he's been out recently with an injury, but honestly, most of this year, he hasn't looked like the Deebo from last year. But here's the thing. Last game against the Seahawks, Deebo looked like prime Deebo. And he reached his fastest speed of the season at 20.37 miles per hour. So he's just blistering out there. And if you remember on that play that he reached that 20.37 miles per hour, he was trying to set up a block down the sideline with Brandon Ayuk. And what he did was really next level, and I would say elite, setting up his blocks. Because how he set it up was Ayuk was blocking the player, and then Deebo hesitated long enough to cut back on the outside and then essentially trap the player that was chasing him in between his own Seahawks teammate and Brandon Ayuk, giving them a clear lane to run to the house. And then that's when he really burst. So you could see that he still has that second gear, which has been something that I've questioned. And I know it came late in the game, and I've seen arguments that, oh, well, the only reason Deebo got away on that play is because the Seahawks gave up. Well, it was his fastest speed of the season, and I think Deebo may have saved a lot of his juice for the playoffs. And here's the thing with Deebo recently. With Brock Purdy, it seems like Deebo has been getting the ball deeper down the field and more consistently not behind the line of scrimmage. I remember with Jimmy Garoppolo, it seemed like it was only screens and handoffs to Deebo, but now it seems like Deebo is actually back to playing a wide receiver position some of the time, which is great to see considering he got paid like a wide receiver, not a running back. And you have plenty of bullies in the backfield for the San Francisco 49ers too. I mean, Jordan Mason is just a bully physically. He'll run you over. And Christian McCaffrey is a bully because he'll make you look a little bit silly sometimes, especially if you have to guard him one-on-one and he's running a route. I think he's up there with some of the best slot receivers in the game. He runs routes so crisply. He's a great runner out of the backfield. And it's so weird, the dichotomy between Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey. They're like inverse players. Christian McCaffrey, I think, is a better receiver out of the backfield, and Deebo's a better runner out of the receiver position. It's such a weird thing, but it works so well with the 49ers because of their utilization, and that all goes down to Kyle Shanahan. And I guess this philosophy of being the bully starts with him, and he built such a physically imposing team. I mean, on both sides of the ball, they just try to get after you and hit you hard. And the San Francisco 49ers, Deebo on the defensive side of the ball, for me, has to be Dre Greenlaw, because he's a punisher at the linebacker position, and he's the second best player on the defense right behind Nick Bosa. And Nick Bosa, in his own right, is a bully because he will pick up offensive linemen, and these guys are huge, 300 pounds, and pick them up like they're nothing and throw them back into quarterbacks, throw them on the floor, and then go hit the quarterback, force a fumble, intercept a quarterback. This guy can do it all. He deserved to be MVP. But we're talking about Dre Greenlaw and how he's the Deebo of the defense. This guy can cover sideline to sideline so quickly, it's impressive. And not just that, he can recognize plays, and once he recognizes them, he pulls the trigger and goes after it. And I think this is something like kind of like a Hufanga does in the back secondary, but Hufanga does it a little bit more recklessly, and I think Dre Greenlaw kind of understands a little bit more deeply what he's looking at. And that kind of makes sense because Dre Greenlaw has been in the league better, and perhaps Hufanga can develop into more of a natural trigger puller like Dre Greenlaw, because you don't really see Dre Greenlaw pull the trigger and then get burned. I know he's a linebacker, but that can still happen as a linebacker. He's honestly so good at containing the quarterback and those flat routes too, which kind of eliminates an offense's checkdowns, which is extremely helpful to stop them from getting into short yardage situations, which I think that in this game against the Cowboys, Dak Prescott has continually said that he's going to check it down, make sure that he doesn't go deep and make those big mistakes, or, because he threw so many interceptions, he's worried about it. But if you're trying to check down on Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner, your team's going to get bullied. Pollard is a small running back, and he's going to get picked up and slammed by Dre Greenlaw. I mean, Dre Greenlaw almost did that to Tyreek Hill just to show him that he could. If that's not an absolute bully, I don't know what is. And Fred Warner and Aziz Al-Shaair also like hitting you and hitting you hard. So good luck with those checkdowns, Dak, and running up the middle and doing all that fun stuff on this defense, because I think they're going to get after you. And playing playoff football, they're going to try to put every single thing in every single play. And you can just see that that's the type of players the 49ers have in their linebacking core. And on the defensive line, they got some big guys too, and guys that like getting after you. Arik Armstead, he sounds like the nicest soft-spoken person ever. I mean, even more so than Nick Bosa. And he's huge and likes hitting the quarterback. He picks up these guys just as much as Nick Bosa, but he does so much work on the interior stopping the run. And that's something that's really underestimated about Arik Armstead, because his stats may not pop out a lot of the times, but what he's doing is so great for the rest of the team, including guys like Dre Greenlaw, because by absorbing multiple blocks and being able to take care of his assignment, he makes it so other people can flourish. And Javon Kinlaw recently has been playing, which he's done okay. He can improve, but it's nice to see him on the field get in work. And he's actually done decent on some of these run plays. He's getting the backfield and stopping the running back, which is what the 49ers expected out of him. I just hope he can stay a consistent level and stay healthy. That's the biggest thing with Javon Kinlaw. And I would say the San Francisco 49ers have some bullies in their secondary, but honestly, it seems like they like getting bullied in their secondary. So Dak, if you want to beat the 49ers, this is the key. You have to go deep and go deep quickly. And still then, you might get picked off because there's Gibson and he does make plays on the ball pretty consistently, and you seem to like to give those up, Dak. But do not do the whole check down game. This will hurt you and hurt your team. You need to go deep against this 49ers secondary. They are the weakness of the 49ers team. The second weakness is the other man who loves to get bullied on the offensive side of the ball. And that guy is Mike McGlinchey. And I know he's had decent games recently, but it's clear that the Dallas Cowboys have a pretty imposing line, and they can get after Brock Purdy and hit him. Especially, imagine if their running game isn't established early on, and let's say McCaffrey and the running backs are only giving like 2 yards a carry. You're getting in a lot of third and longs, second and longs, and you know what that's going to set up? McGlinchey to get beat off the edge and get smacked his quarterback. Whoever's going to go against him is going to smack Purdy at least once this game, is my prediction. With that being said, I still envision the San Francisco 49ers beating the Dallas Cowboys, specifically by physically imposing their will on the other team, because I feel like the Cowboys have traveled so much and are hitting their wall. And even regardless of about how much adrenaline you have, once you hit a certain point, you can't do anymore. And I think Dallas is hitting that point of no return. And once the 49ers put them in their place early on and show them they have no hope to win this game, the 49ers will continue to manhandle them the rest of the game. And my final score prediction is 34-24 San Francisco on top. Now that I gave you my thoughts on the San Francisco 49ers and who's the bully on this team, tell me who's the biggest bully on this team. Is it Debo? Is it Trent Williams? Maybe Jawan Jennings? I don't know. You let me know down below. Please subscribe. It helps out a ton. Like my video, all that good stuff. I appreciate all you guys.